The process of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very wonderful. One who is intelligent should accept that process and be satisfied with whatever comes, favorable or unfavorable, by his supreme will. The great sage Narada instructed Dhruva Maharaja that one should be satisfied in all circumstances. Everyone who is intelligent should know that because of our concept of bodily existence, we are subjected to suffering and enjoyment. One who is in the transcendental position, beyond the conception of bodily life, is considered to be intelligent. One who is a devotee especially accepts all reverses as gift of the Supreme Lord. When a devotee is put into distress, he accepts this as God's mercy and offers him repeated obeisances with his body, mind, and intellect. An intelligent person, therefore, should be always satisfied, depending on the mercy of the Lord. So, it looks like verse for you today. Yeah? I didn't put this particular verse, nobody find it. Krishna has his ways. So, Narada Muni says to Dhruva Maharaj that perfect way is the way of the Supreme. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Yayathamam prapadyante tam stathaiva bhajamyaham mamavartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. He says that as you surrender to me, I would reward you accordingly. Everybody walks my path in every way. O Arjuna. So actually there's only path of the Supreme. We can accept it or we can reject it. We will go this path anyhow. Prabhupada says, I just recently heard the lecture, if you accept Krishna blindly, you still benefit. You still benefit even if you accept Krishna blindly. Why? Because he says, as fire burns, if you believe on its burning fire, power or not, you put your hand, you'll get, you get a cooked hand, or burnt hand. So it doesn't matter, somebody can say, I don't believe that fire burns. Okay, then, make your experience. If we are foolish enough not to accept the knowledge from somebody who's authorized, then we make our experience, we'll get it. So it's not the question somebody believes in God or not believe in God. It's irrelevant because there is reality. And the human form of life is meant to find out what the reality is. What is the absolute truth? Some may say, well, I don't believe there is absolute truth. Then you say, okay, you don't believe? Then would fire burn for you and it will not burn for me? Or maybe it will not burn for somebody? Let's see. Is it universal that fire burns? Let's find somebody whose fire will not burn. Any person. Let's find somebody, some person, some man, whom you put under the water for 1 hour, and he comes out, will be very, for him it's the reality of water without enough oxygen for human does not exist. He doesn't believe in it, so therefore it's not working. Yeah? Or if somebody get brick on his head, then if you don't believe that it hurts, it will not hurt, isn't it? This is relative reality. Of course, we know about the relative reality also. Relative reality is that, how our Albert Einstein explained, as we've heard from Maharaj, that if somebody in love, he can spend so much time with his beloved, or her beloved, and then time flies, and you don't see. And if you put the same young man on the burning pot with his, very delicate point of the body, just sit him there, put the fire on, then he will think 1 minute is eternity already. Yeah? This is another point. This is something relativistic, but it comes to absolute truth because this stuff is burning. It's burning for everyone. And the love is attractive for everyone. And therefore, we perceive time differently. But actually, the reality is absolute. By any means, by any logic, by any experience, we can say the reality is absolute. It is the same. Of course, there could be different perception of the circumstances, but there is, there is the substance, which is like it is. You can see the glass as half empty or half full, but the reality, there's some water in the glass, and it's exactly half the glass. You can say it's half empty or half full. This is your perception. Either you're optimist or pessimist, but the reality does not change. There is a half glass of water. Is half empty or half full. So this absolute reality is described in the Vedic literature very precisely, very, very nicely, and very logically. I mean, it makes sense when you read it. If you don't believe it, even, there's nothing you ever read which makes so much sense and which describes so much about this life and beyond, which you will find in no literature. This description, it's just not existent. There's no competition to it. There's no competition. You don't need to even. There's nowhere anything even close to it. So there's one way. One way. There's two ends of this way. One way is the kingdom of God, another end is samsara. They are repeated birth and death. Sometimes heaven, sometimes hell, sometimes whatever. So we see, because of our own behavior, because of our own deeds, we would get reaction, different reactions. Actually, God just says, please get out of this play, of this game. You don't need to have your action-reaction game. There's a spiritual world where everything is fine and I give you knowledge about it. Please come. No, I want to be the controller. I want to be the enjoyer. I want to be. I want to think. I'm the master of everything I survey. Okay, if you want, then I give you freedom to act and get reactions. Reactions natural. It's a law of justice. If you hurt somebody, you have to be hurt in order to learn something. If you did some criminal activity, like in normal society, if you steal, then everybody would say the thief should be punished. Otherwise, you will not have any safe environment for people who are nice. If thieves are not punished, then any sober good man would want to leave this place, because it's horrible to be thieves or criminals. It's just anarchy. It's total hellish
life.